Oh, and this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome into what is my favorite day of the entire week. It's Thursday, and this is where we dominate Stadium and Amazon Prime and DirecTV and YouTube TV for the next 2 hours. It is Coaching Company right now, then at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is Coach and Bro for full hour of pro wrestling, the business of pro wrestling, coming up over the course of the next 2 hours. Now, last night, we had a premium pop-up. It was amazing. We hit a ton of bets. So if you're a premium member, you're happy. If you're a viewer of the morning show, we've got some work to do. Because last night, it started off great. The Mariners up 2-0, 3-0, whatever it was. Julio, I called the shot on the premium show. I called the shot. And then the Blue Jays, their bats woke up, and they absolutely demolished the Mariners last night. The over comes in. The team total comes in. We hit first three. There's a ton of live bets. So if you're a live bettor, you want to become a premium member, and you can do that right now. There is the QR code. Tonight, we're going to be here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, breaking down Thursday Night Football, 2 baseball games. NHL, I believe there's several games on tap. Live betting is so much fun. We laugh a lot. We learn a lot. Come be a part of what we're doing. Pay for yourself and shoot 1 or 2 bets. Also, if you want to get a piece of our merchandise, we have a brand new merch store right now. If you get something, take a picture, send it to us. We'll throw it up on the show. And finally, the schedule. Hey, ladies. Today, in addition to here, obviously, Coach and Bro, as I already mentioned, but at 2 to 4 Eastern Time, we have Off the Ropes on Sirius XM Channel 156, Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, and all of our content on demand. Subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. It will really help the brand continue to grow like we are. All right, housekeeping is over. I'm telling you right now, today, this is our line in the sand because I'm not happy. But we're going to have a bunch of green check marks. I got the best talent in the business. We got a ton to get to. We've got Thursday Night Football. We've got baseball. And on Thursdays, we're the only show that has former NFL coach Phil McKagan as we go no filter and break down Thursday Night Football from the coaching perspective. So with all that being said, yeah, they're ready. So am I. Let's beat the books, damn it. Oh, look who we have today. My absolute, what I like to call the A-team. First and foremost, let's start downstairs. The best-looking man in all of the Coaching Company universe. We go by one name. Good morning, Zeno.
Good morning, Coach. Thankfully, that's not a very high bar to clear to get that moniker. Appreciate it, guys. And Peyton, I've missed you. I need to put my arms around you, young man. We're going to have a conversation later, you and I, but we will move on with the program.
With that being said, let's go up to the youngest member of our team. We absolutely love him. He is on the campus of the Horned Frogs, not what Big Tommy called them. TCU in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Good morning, young Peyton.
Yeah, not to get confused with the Horny Frogs, guys. Good morning. I was on campus a little too late last night as I was working in the control room for the women's volleyball game last night. And it got a little long just because, we had some trouble with some service errors. You know who you are. So, got a little late last night.
Is that part of your major, is that you get to learn how to direct, produce, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir. I was assistant producing last night for the ESPN Plus broadcast.
Wow. That's super cool. That really, really is. I didn't know that. Okay. Awesome. You're going to have to let us know. We got to throw up some of your video that you're behind here on the show. I mean, that's for a college student. You can't get any better than that. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Finally, he's our numbers guy for a reason. Say good morning to Rafael Esparza. Good morning, Rafael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, family. Should be a great day. We have NFL, college football, 2 baseball games, and a full rack of NHL. I just can't wait.
Now, I do need to say this before we get to our best bets. For those of you that were on the premium pop-up last night, because Rafael was there, Rafael, I never like to root for losing. Don't like it. However, However, when we had the team total Toronto Blue Jays under a half for the first three, and they were sitting on 0, and they had a 2-run home run, the look on Mikey P's face live on it was worth everything. It was worth everything. Then they added another 3 runs. Were you on the Mariners last night, Zeno?
No, I took the over, but it's why baseball is evil. There's nothing worse than having a first 5 bet that's down to 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a guy hits a home run and you lose.
It's the worst. Now, last night, Mark had the over in the first 3. Raphael had the over in the first 5. So everybody cashed except for Mikey. And don't get me started on Delaware. Don't get me started on
Mikey
Delaware.
had Delaware.
That was brutal. Oh, my goodness.
You were on Delaware last night?
No, not me. Not me. Mikey was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every turnover, every fourth down. It was brutal. All right, gentlemen, we got to get serious. Just for a second, because we need some check marks today. We need to have a good day. We've kind of been in that ho-hum universe the last couple of weeks. We got to get on a run. So, Zeno, you're my guy. You're my tent pole. You're my rock. Start us off. Best bets. Go.
Aaron Rodgers over 260.5 passing yards tonight against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's gone over 200 in 4 of 5 games. The Bengals, in 5 of 6 games, have allowed every passer to get at least over 217 yards, with the exception of the one game against the Vikings where they were up 34-3 at halftime. So the Vikings didn't have to throw in the second half here. We know how bad the Bengals defense is. Aaron Rodgers goes over 216.5. And I'm going to do something I've never done before, Coach, and that's slap an NHL bet down right now. Why? Because the New York Rangers made history in the last 2 nights, becoming the first team in NHL history in their first 3 home games to be shut out, held scoreless.
Oh.
They have been shut out in the last 2 consecutive games. They're on the road tonight in Toronto. They don't return home until Monday against the Wild. We'll be betting them there again as well, but we're going to take the Rangers team total over 2.5 tonight because we are just playing right against a historical streak.
And it feels like the right thing to do. Raphael, real quick, that number, I can't believe it. Shut out in the first 3 home games. I mean, you may not know this off the top of your head, Raphael, but that's crazy.
Never happened.
Yeah, and live betting has been brutal for them because everyone was betting them under through the whole live betting. So the books are very aware of that.
Wow. That's why I love having you. You always know why the numbers are moving. Because last night we had one where it didn't make any sense, but you made sense for us. All right, Zeno, great start by you. I love that Rangers play. That's going to be a sweat, I have a feeling, but we like sweats here. All right, now this man, from volleyball to the bed to getting up, and he's just grinding. Young Peyton, let's go.
All right, first we're taking the Steelers to cover the 5.5 at -110. Cincinnati, just 2-4 against the spread this year so far. I think we see the Steelers shut Cincinnati's offense down. And on the other side, the Bengals defense is just horrendous. They allow over 30 points a game. That's 3rd highest in the NFL. Give me the Steelers to cover tonight. And let's go with Tyler Glass now to go over 6.5 Ks tonight at +119. It's ridiculous what the Dodgers have the luxury of doing. You just need a 3-man rotation in the playoffs, and Dave Roberts gets to sit there in the dugout and choose from 4 of the best starting pitchers in the game. He had a plan for Glass now to come out of the bullpen, but he ended up starting him against Philly, and Tyler went 6 scoreless with 8 strikeouts in that game. He's a dominant arm, as we all know. He's got playoff experience. Dave Roberts will not pull him to go to that horrendous bullpen. I think he goes 6 innings tonight, and he doesn't go 6 innings without striking out at least 7. Give me the over 6.5 on Tyler Glass now at plus money.
He learned his lesson in game number 2, leaving Yamamoto in there for the entire 9 innings. If they're rocking it, leave him in there. And Young Peyton, me and you have a little synergy, because tonight I'm going to do something I haven't done, Zeno, in the entire playoffs. I'm going to slap down a baseball player prop. And I'm going to Oscar Hernandez. When he's at home, he's special. He figures out a way. He had 2 hits in the last game in Milwaukee. And tonight, over 1.5 total bases. I got this over at BetMGM at +105. I'm banking on him going yard. Just like I called my shot last night, I'm calling my shot right now with Mr. Hernandez. All I need is a double, a couple of singles. That's all I need. Or a ding-dong. Now, speaking of ding-dongs, the Bengals, what are they doing? So give me Joe Flacco. He went under this number in his first week. He walks in the door. 3 days later, he's starting. And the Steelers defense, last time I checked, really, really good. They held Dylan Gabriel under this number a week ago, and I think they're really going to lock in. Also, a lot of this play is because it's Thursday night, and teams just want to get in, suck the life out of the game, and get out. They don't want to put anything on display. So I think it's a very shortened game. Joe Flacco, probably under 200, to be honest with you. All right, Raphael, big boy, close us out.
First one, we're going to go with the Steelers team total over 24.5. Just go to Zeno's rant, rewind it, and that's the reason why we're going to 24.5. I think Aaron Rodgers picks apart that secondary. The Bengals' last 5 games, all 5 of them have hit this 24.5. This one will move to 24 or 25.5 by kickoff because the total is going to move all afternoon. And then give me the Blue Jays Mariners over 7.5. Why not? Last 2 games have gone over. The last 2 games, the winner has scored double-digit runs. I think the repeat button is going to happen today. I don't know who's going to win, but a lot of people are going to touch home plate, and this one flies over to 7.5.
Yeah, the teams are very, very loose right now. Once you get into game 3 and game 4 of these series, they get looser and the pitching gets worse. All right, right now, Mikey P and Marky Model, they are in the chat interacting with all of you. And we're going to start something new today that we want you to interact with us. And we're going to take some of your answers, some of our answers, and make a play for the dog of the day. So we've got 3 different choices today. We've got 2 baseball games, and we have an NFL game. So, Peyton, I'm going to start with you. Of the dogs today, and we can throw that graphic up anytime, which one do you like the most of those 3?
Well, it's hard to keep the Blue Jays bats quiet for 3 games straight. We saw it last night. That's a top 3 offense in baseball. When Vladdy gets hot, forget it. He had 3 hits last night, but Mariners still in front, so it'll be interesting to see how they manage game 4. But we're going to see Scherzer against Castillo tonight. That should be a great watch. I got Toronto at plus money tonight.
All right. Mr. Zeno, if you had to of these 3, where would you go?
Allow me a moment here, Coach. You know how they say youth is wasted on the young?
Yes.
My good protege, Peyton, has not learned from 2 Thursday nights ago where he laid 8.5 on the road in the division with the Rams and they lost outright. Don't be a road chalk eating weasel. Stop laying points on the road within a division on a short week.
Whoa. I just asked you on this graphic. Why are we going there?
The only side to bet is the Cincinnati Bengals. That's it. Bengals pass. You cannot bet the Steelers tonight, Peyton. I love you, but you can't do it.
So he's on the Steelers, or so he's on the Bengals tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not quite sure. I believe so. Raphael, where, if you had to, dog of the day, again, this is not an official play. It's more fun. In the chat, we want to hear from you. Put in which one of these 3 dogs, if you had to. Raphael, where would you go?
I love me some trends, and the road team has been trending, so why not take the Brew Crew on the road and beat the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium? I think that would be the nice trend, and a lot of money would be wasted on Dodgers money coming in.
I mean, that's the best number at plus 155. I think I'm going to have to follow Peyton and go with the Blue Jays because last night their bats really woke up. And Max Scherzer has a way at certain times in his career of really elevating his game. So if I had to, I would play the Blue Jays. So that's 2 Blue Jays, 1 Bengals, and 1 on the Brewers. So put it in there. And at the end of the show, we'll come up with a collective and hopefully Zeno's head won't pop off his shoulders. All right. With that being said, oh, what a great first segment. Still to come, he's on deck. He's looking awesome today. And we've got no filter. Former NFL coach Phil McKagan will break down Thursday Night Football from a coaching perspective. Also coming up, we look at both of those baseball games tonight. Pivotal games in Major League Baseball. And also coming up in about 30 minutes, who is the best team in the NFL right now? Who's the most disappointing team in the NFL? My guys will break it down coming up in a half hour. Did I mention I love Thursdays? Oh, the stadium execs, what are they doing? 2 full hours up until noon Eastern time right now. This is Coaching Company right here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. All right, you degenerates, you maintain on our YouTube channel. Hit that like button on the way in. Peyton, last night, you're Dallas Mavericks. You're also a huge Lakers fan. No LeBron. Cooper Flag at point guard. They start on Tuesday, in fact. What do you make of them trying to have Cooper Flagg play point guard and also no LeBron for at least a month?
Well, first with the Mavericks, I don't like it at all. They have no speed out there at all. They can't defend 1 through 5. Everyone says Cooper Flagg can do that. I didn't think he could because Gabe Vincent had 18 points in about 5 minutes. So you're going to sit there and tell me that he can guard 1 through 5. You just let Gabe Vincent go off. If you let him go off, what's Steph Curry going to do? What are those premier guards going to do? So I don't like where the Mavericks are at right now. I don't think they're moving very fast. And this is going to be the first time on the other side LeBron's going to be out for the first game in his career of 23 years. It's the first time he's missing the part of the season. So,
Zeno, what do you make? How much of an impact do you think that's going to have? The fact that 23 years he's never missed an opening game.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people who have sciatica injuries. They're also about 50. So it's one of those things where this could be a sign that the body is portraying LeBron finally, the one that has kept him upright for so long. This feels like it's a situation where this might linger on longer than what we expect.
It really kind of does. And also maybe a blessing in disguise, Raphael, that if it's out a little bit, then maybe if they make it to the playoffs, he'll be a little fresher. Because last year in the playoffs, he fell off a cliff. He was exhausted by the time we got to April.
Yeah, I think that's why he's probably going to be out a little bit longer than they're telling us because they need him fresh for the second half of the NBA season, a.k.a. Christmas. But week or day one of the NBA with the Lakers on the court, that's what the Lakers are going to be next year and the years on. No LeBron out there.
All right. By the way, if you want to ask Coach Phil a question, we're going to take the best one from the chat. So put it in there right now if you have a question for Coach Phil, because we have him coming up next right here live on the show. If you've ever wondered from a coaching perspective, now is the time. All right. It's time to talk football. We're back on Stadium and Bally Sports Live in just, count them up, 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Coach and Company here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we dive deeper into Thursday night football. The Steelers on the road at the Bengals. But right here, right now, I love it every single Thursday. And if you have a question, put it into the chat. We're going to grab one fan question for my man, Phil McKagan. It's time to go. A little no filter. My man, Coach, with several teams in the NFL, the current offensive coordinator for the St. Louis UFL team, my man Phil McKagan is back with us again today. Phil, I got to jump right into it because I've always wondered, and I watched you this past spring, and you're always calling in the plays, and everything moves so fast. Take me through what, from the end of a play to the next play, it sounds like, it looks like, from the OC's perspective.
Well, you're going to grab your menu that looks very similar to a double-sided Cheesecake Factory menu with just about every option you could possibly have on it, Coach, right? So in the UFL, you have 35 seconds to get a play call in. All right, you want to look and see how many yards you gained. In the NFL, you get 40, so you get 5 additional seconds. But typically, the first thing you do is say personnel, 11, 11, 11, which means 1 back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. Then, for example, I would say this play here. All right, we had 11 personnel in the game. Trips right, 300 jet Purdue, X hot, kill, same 12 duo. So the reason we talk about those kills versus 2 safety. So if it's single safety, that's going to Hakeem Butler, who's a really good player. If it's 2 safety, we're going to hand it off to Jacob Sailors, who's on the Detroit Lions roster now. So again, you want to get your ball into the best hands that you possibly have on offense.
And you got to be thinking 2 or 3 plays ahead, I would assume.
At least, and you got to have your finger on this button because the quarterback can't hear you. So there's been times where I've been saying trips right, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to push the button real quick because we're going again, Coach Joe. So there's a lot going on in the 35 seconds. It could be second and 10. Now you're grabbing the sheet, looking at your second down calls, and then you're saying, okay, I got one, and you get it in like that. So there is no anxiety medication that's designed for this problem that you have if you care greatly for your players.
I've always wondered what this means.
It means we have an audio issue. And what I would tell you, young Peyton, if you want to get into editing and video, never be my audio guy for games because you're going to get your you-know-what ripped. It's not a good job to have.
Go back to Hard Knocks, the season that you launched that season. We saw Phil get after it in the wide receivers room.
You did.
All right, let's get into tonight's game because the Bengals came into this year high hopes. They won their first couple of games, and then Joe Burrow goes down. Browning can't stop throwing interceptions, so they made a trade for Joe Flacco,
Sure.
who came in and started last week. They didn't even give him the chance to get to know the playbook. What's the emotional wherever the Bengals are at right now when you go through this many quarterbacks in the first 6 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I've known Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for a while through the process, obviously in the draft, and I know their position coaches in college. So I have a lot of respect and admiration. I go visit these guys maybe every other year during training camp. I know they love Joe, and obviously Jamar was his teammate in college. So there's an emotional component to it that sets in. Then there's a lack of production, generally speaking. Then there's frustration that sets in. And then for me as a position coach, it's an opportunity for personal growth to manage these guys and explain to them we need to do a better job of understanding like what Joe needs and what Joe does. And we have to kind of rally around our backup quarterback. So that happened to us this year in the UFL when we lost Manny. All right. And we had to go with Max Duggan, but we won 6 in a row. So there is a way mentality wise that you can fortify and rally the troops.
Had to adjust your play calling dependent. Look right
100%.
up at me. Look at me right now. Look, take your eyes up. Right at me. Right at me. Bring him down.
This
There
is
you
my camera. I can only
There you
see.
go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, you're looking a little bit off camera. All right, let's go to question number 3, and we're going to go to the Pittsburgh side because who could have ever known that the marriage between Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers would work this well to the tune of a 4-1 start? Why has it worked so well?
Yeah, I would say the one word, and all the Jamaicans out there understand, respect, right? So everybody respects each other in that locker room, generally speaking, because Mike Tomlin's such a great leader. So when you talk about those two individuals, Aaron's a Super Bowl champ, Mike's a Super Bowl champ, offense, defense. There's just this great amount of respect for one another. And when it comes down to it, everybody respects what Mike does on defense. Everybody's respect the body of work with Aaron. And when you're winning like they are, that respect grows and amplifies and trust builds. So what they have going right now, it's real and it's pretty fun to watch.
On the defensive side of the ball, the last 3 weeks, they have not allowed over 21 points, only 9 to the Cleveland Browns. That's their identity, and it feels like they're getting back to it. Why has their defense been playing so well lately?
Yeah, their defense, Mike Tomlin's philosophy around defense is to make them earn every blade of grass. And people say a lot of platitudes and a lot of words in the air, right? But when Mike Tomlin says it, their defense actually reflects his theories, all right, his ideology. So seeing the way that they fly around, they cause turnovers, the way they feed off the crowd, the way that TJ gets everybody going, and you got Highsmith, and then they just have some Jalen Ramsey now. They just have so many guys. The names change. Hayward's been there forever, but the identity looks the same. Like Dick LeBeau leaves, and all of a sudden they're still competitive. They're still very dominant. So I just think it's a cultural thing. It's really fun to watch, and I can't wait to watch these guys play tonight.
All right, we do have a fan question as we close this out this week, and you're amazing as always. When you get out to a start that maybe you don't expect from a coaching staff perspective, now that you're sitting in first place and the Ravens, who were Super Bowl favorites, are now 1-5, does it change anything about your approach week to week now that you're in first place and maybe you didn't expect it?
What a sensational question that is, because it plays on almost like some things that you can't control, right? Because you see the Ravens struggling, you see where you are, you look at the standings, you obviously do, but you can only control what you could control, right? So they can only control their attitude, output, and effort tonight against the Bengals. But it's hard, players, coaches alike, to see teams in the division having injuries, struggling, and then you're like, okay, this is an opportunity for us to gain one game on the standings. That's the only way you can look at it. If you look at it any farther in advance, you're going to end up giving yourself a tremendous amount of pressure, and that's how collapses happen, Coach.
Well, right now, the Steelers are tied for the best, they're half game back technically in the loss column with the Colts. Who would have ever thought? With the Colts for the best record in the AFC. He's here every single Thursday. We love having him. A great perspective. No filter with my guy, Phil McKagan. All right, we got to turn the page to baseball now. We got time for one game right now. Let's bring my guys back in. And tonight at 6:08 p.m. Eastern time. And it'll probably be around the 5th or 6th inning when we have our premium pop-up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. But here are the numbers according to BetMGM. Zeno, I want to start with you because the Dodgers have a chance to really cement themselves as the best team in these playoffs, go up 3-0, and then if the other series goes for a minute, we know it's going to start, but they're going to have a lot of rest to really set their pitching lineup. How important do you think tonight is for the Dodgers in their chase to repeat?
Well, they're going to win this series. I don't really have any concern about them doing that. I mean, Milwaukee has TBD as their starter almost every night. It's an awful place to be. Like the injuries and everything else that have mounted up have left them just completely decimated. I didn't think even at full strength Milwaukee could compete with the Dodgers, and I don't think they can now. As Peyton mentioned earlier, Tyler Glasnow should be in full control tonight. Although the over does feel good because the highest scoring team on the road is playing the highest scoring team at home, and that is in LA. But if Glasnow's on, Milwaukee's dead early.
It really looks like, based off of what Zeno said, I agree with him completely, Peyton, that the games have gone so fast. Snell and Yamamoto just strike after strike after strike. The Brewers can't hit off-speed pitching, so they're throwing changeup after changeup. It's been an amazing 17 innings of pitching for their starters so far. For the Dodgers tonight with that offense at home, what do you expect?
Well, Blake Snell goes 8 scoreless, allows just 1 hit in game 1 and had 10 strikeouts. All the Brewers wanted in game 2 was just to not see Blake Snell. So they were happy seeing Yoshi actually, but that was for 1 pitch when Churio homered on the first pitch Yoshi threw. But after that, a complete game in the NLCS. So the first one we've seen in 8 years. And now you're lined up to face Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani in game 4. The series is over. They're going to win the World Series, but go look at how much money the Dodgers spent to get these pitchers. If they don't win the World Series, their entire staff should be fired. Of course they're shutting teams down. Look how much money their pitching staff's making.
It kind of feels like a Kevin Durant type of situation when he went to Golden State. Yeah, you're going to win it, but I will say this, that in 20 years when Blake Snell's sitting around and looking at his rings, nobody's going to sit there in his house and go, man, you were on a stacked team that only money could buy. Because, Raphael, the numbers that we've seen from the start of the year all the way through, the books never wavered, even when the Dodgers were struggling. And at minus 190, I'll be honest with you, that almost feels like a bargain right now with this team.
Yeah, we could see $2. I'm a little bit shocked that they're the first game and not the last game being in Dodger Stadium. If it was the last game, we would see maybe 210 at the closing number. But keep an eye out for the total. We could see 8. Why? Yesterday's baseball game went over. Yesterday's all college football games went over. Trend is a friend when it comes to public betting. I think they pushed this one over to 8. So I think grab the 7.5 now.
They'll never admit it, but I think safety is a reason they're putting that game earlier. Again, it may just be all a TV thing, but there's been so many bad incidents at the Dodgers. They don't want this thing going late into the night. So it's an afternoon start when the sun is out. Zeno, bring us home on this one. I played Teoscar Hernandez and his player props. Is there anybody that you've seen on either side from a prop perspective that a lot of people like to play that you think could have a big game tonight?
I mean, again, I have to lean on the Dodgers pitching. I back Peyton here with Glasnow. 6.5 is a really tough number. I know you went after money. I might be willing to lay a little more to take 5.5 just to get in a range where I'm more comfortable, but certainly understand it. This is a Milwaukee team that struck out a ton throughout the entire postseason. So I would lean on the pitching here until I see otherwise.
Peyton, what about you?
Tommy Edman, his stats or his numbers are a little lower and his odds are a little bit better. I'd take Tommy Edman, especially at home. He's gotten a hit in his last 4 games, 2 multi-hit games as well.
All right, very, very good. All right, gentlemen, well done. There is a second game tonight. We'll be live betting that one on our premium pop-up show, which starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not a premium member, do it right now. I'm telling you, it's a ton of fun. We laugh a lot, we learn a lot, and we cash some tickets. All right, coming up on the other side, we've already heard from Coach Phil from a coaching perspective. Now we're going to dig in from a player prop perspective and an entire game. Thursday nights, when you get to week 7 and later, they become a get in, get out, and just try to get the dub. Coaching Company, Stadium, Valley Sports Live. All right, Raphael, my guy, you're asked to make a lot of different kinds of odds over there for your day job. And I believe, what are we calling tonight's matchup between Flacco and Aaron Rodgers?
The Icy Hot Bowl.
The Icy Hot Bowl. And the rushing yards, who's be better? They're both slow. This is crazy. When you got this request, did you kind of roll your eyes a little bit?
I did, and then they've told me why I got this request, and then it made sense because they're just making fun of us old people. Yes, I put myself in that. Yes, us old people.
Okay. I wanted to know who was included in us, just to be clear.
No, just me. Just me.
I'm probably pretty close.
We know. For me and Coach, I was just wondering who the us.
What do you make of this? Because the Bengals, I love Zeno that they're trying to do something. But no matter what they're trying, they nothing works. Nothing has worked.
Well, they've been a poorly coached team because Zach Taylor is a bad coach. I mean, that's been evident for years now. But the Brown family doesn't fire coaches, and they keep them around way longer than they should. And that's kind of what happened here. But in reality, too, this is also, even with a healthy Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson, the other 52 guys on the roster, 50 guys on the roster are bad. It's a bad roster all around. Now, there is one thing that fits in here that may work out in their favor. And I put this stat in the chat. Mike Tomlin as a coach, Thursday nights on the road, 1-9 straight up, including 0-6 against the AFC North. Oh. These are bad spots for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. I as much as Flacco, is old and not the same, he certainly played this team enough throughout his career to know exactly the tendencies of a Mike Tomlin defense and how to get through it. Can the Bengals keep them upright? I don't know. I mean, it's a spot here where, like you said, Coach, survive and just get out of there with a dub. That's the Steelers' whole mentality here. If they win by 1, they'll be celebrating like, they won the Super Bowl.
That's true. I wonder if there's ever been another quarterback that has played for the other 3 teams in the same division in their career. Ravens, Browns, and now the Bengals. Joe Flacco. Keep earning that check. We're back talking all things Thursday Night Football in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is Coaching Company here, just past the bottom of the hour. If you're watching us live in the East, it is 10:32. Out here in the West, it is 7:32. If you miss any of the show, you can catch us on demand on our Coaching Company YouTube page. While you are there, hit the subscribe button for us. It really helps us continue to grow. Now, I need to see my guy, Raphael, because we're always trying to beat a number. We're always trying to get an edge before the game. So, Raphael, I'm going to start with you. Anything popping off right now, Steelers and Bengals?
Keep an eye out for this total. Coach, 4 days ago, this total was 42.5. The first 45 just was posted in Vegas about 25 minutes ago. I thought we wouldn't see 45 until sometime this afternoon. If I see a 45 now, when we're doing our pop-up show today, it could be 45.5. So I just think public money is going to be all over Pittsburgh and over, Pittsburgh and over. Teaser, Pittsburgh and over, Pittsburgh and over. It's going to push the total.
It feels like I see in my head, because as you know, I'm a savant now after calling last night's home run. That was pretty impressive, though.
I was. You were. I have to admit it. I gave you props last night. Congrats.
Thank you. I see 24-21 in my head somehow. And that half a point, because a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter, 45, 45.5. How much does that half point come into play a lot of the time?
Thursday Night Football, it does. Thursday night more than Monday night. People think, just because I think the way they play Thursday Night Football games, we've said it, get in and get out, don't get hurt. So I think the way they play the style of game on Thursday night, I think the number happens a little bit more than we see on a Monday night. Monday night, sometimes are just blowout games.
Yeah, they really, really are. All right, we've got to dig in a little bit deeper, because some things we don't talk about a lot. People love playing overs, but sometimes the under is the best play when you're talking about a certain player or a certain bet. All right, it's time. Week 7. Let's kick it off. let's start from a team perspective. There's the numbers. We got those over at BetMGM. They continue to be fluid. You see that number still sitting at 44. Peyton, let's start with you because the Steelers are 4-1. They've already had their bye week. So now they're facing the rest of the season playing every single week. That's the downside to an early bye week. But how fresh, how much energy after another 14-point win last week do you think we'll see from the Steelers team tonight, led by the old guy, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier, how impressed you were with their defense, but I'm not really that impressed with the Steelers' defense this year. It's pretty mediocre at best. It's kind of right in there with points allowed at like mid-pack at 14 in the NFL, but they're playing Joe Flacco tonight, and that Bengals defense is awful. I think Aaron Rodgers has some fun tonight tearing them apart. I'll take the Steelers to cover, and I think the game goes over because Flacco found Jamar Chase late in the game in Green Bay last week. I know that I could find Jamar Chase in the end zone, but I think we see a similar game script where Cincinnati's down in the game and Flacco's throwing the ball late and gets his team in the end zone to hit the over.
Okay. To be specific, young Peyton, I said the last 3 weeks I was impressed with their defense, which they haven't allowed over 21. The first 2 weeks they allowed over 30. I understand that. I do my homework. I prep. So I'm going to push back on you just a little bit. Now, Zeno, let me come over to you. Based off of everything that young Peyton just said, could you see a high-scoring game tonight, which I never see on a Thursday most of the time?
I mean, look, the Steelers team total was at 23.5, and that was like really the only over bettable number. When you get to 24.5, like Raf has, and 25, I get very nervous. This isn't a team that is explosive on offense at all, and they don't necessarily have to be because of the style of football that they play. So, I mean, the real question is do you think the Bengals can get to 20? Because that's the math. If they get to 20, this thing should go over.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow the Pittsburgh defense holds them to under 20. This thing will stay under without some sort of defensive score, special team score, a short field from a turnover that aids in an easy score for a team that pushes the number up. It feels like you need something out of the ordinary to happen if the Bengals don't get to 20 for this thing to get over that total.
Yeah, maybe a defensive touchdown, a pick six, something like that. But I agree 1,000% with you. All right, let's dig into the numbers with the quarterbacks tonight because it's very interesting and it's a fascinating discussion when you have two quarterbacks like this, big names, but they're a little bit older. So you see the name. One of my best bets is Joe Flacco's got to prove it to me. And I think it's going to be a very, very quick game. I think the Steelers are going to hold on to the rock. That's why I like fading his passing yards. Peyton, anything here you see that you like fading or going over?
Yeah, two quarterbacks that love to run the football. I'm kidding. Aaron Rodgers will do anything he wants tonight, really, to pick apart that Bengals defense. I really do like Aaron Rodgers' passing yards just because of how terrible the Bengals are in the secondary. And Joe Flacco, you know what? I like his over too because he's going to need to throw the ball late in this game if they're down. He's proved that he can find his number one receiver. I think we see Flacco go over his number as well. I got a couple overs here.
Are you just trying to piss me off today? I mean, you have Zeno's back on every play that he has, but not you, Coach. No. We hate your stuff. Man, are you two becoming friends? Are you guys like stepbrothers? That's how I feel right now. You two are really starting to bond. All right. A number I'm looking at, Zeno.
He's under my wing.
I can see that. It's not a bad wing. Longest pass for Aaron Rodgers at 35.5. That number seems very large to me. What do you see here?
Well, if it's going to go over, it's going to go to DK because I'll probably break something short and then run for another 30 yards on it.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of me already being over Aaron Rodgers' passing yards, let's look at Flacco's over passing attempts. The Steelers allow 38 pass attempts per game. That's the third most in the NFL per team. As Peyton mentioned, likely the game script says that the Bengals will be down here, so they're going to have to throw their way back into it. And Flacco has averaged 36 pass attempts on the year, regardless of what uniform jersey he has been wearing. So very much so, this is a spot where I think Flacco goes over 36.5 pass attempts.
Yeah, he had 45 last week against Green Bay, to back up your point. All right, let's flip it over now to the ground tonight, which could see a lot of action. At least on one side of the ball, Jaylen Warren and then Chase Brown. And as you can see, their rush numbers, the books don't even think there's going to be a lot of offense tonight, at least on the ground. Peyton, anything you like here?
I like the over on Jalen Warren's rushing yards. I know he hasn't produced big numbers, but it's hard to go under on a number that's not very big for a running back of the winning team tonight. They're going to be leading late in the game, which means running the football. That's where he goes over his number. You mentioned a lot of running, Coach. I think that's what the Steelers do tonight to run some clock. And Chase Brown's under, I like 10 yards short of 1,000 rushing yards last year. And this year, he hasn't had a game where he's went over 50. But it's clearly because they're behind in every game and they need to throw it. So I take the under on Chase Brown yet again.
And collectively, we all think they're going to be behind tonight. So that narrative could play in to Chase Brown and that number at 45.5. I don't mind the rush attempts for Jalen Warren if they're going to run it a lot. And certainly late third, fourth, Zeno, it may feel like they're not going to get there. And then he could rack up 7, 8 pretty quickly.
I get worried about the rush attempts because it is definitely a backfield by committee, and Tomlin will stay with the hot hand. So
yeah,
I don't want to go rush attempts. I would go over the rushing yards. Why? Because, well, the Bengals in the last 5 games, with the exception of the opener, have allowed at least 118 rushing yards as a team to opponents. So even if they're splitting it and they go 50 apiece, guess what? They still should get over 100 because they've allowed at least 140 to 4 of the last 5 opponents. And that's really what it boils down to, is just as a simple math equation for me when you look at Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell going over 49.5. I would go Chase Brown's under rush attempts. He's kind of fallen out of favor here offensively because he's just not getting it done, as Peyton has mentioned. And I don't think he'll be part of this. And the more that they have to throw, the less that he is going to end up rushing. And if they do need the ball in his hands, they'll do it in the pass game as an extension of the run game.
To back up your point one more time, last week, 6 different Steelers had at least 1 rush attempt last week. Warren had 11, Gainwell 6, and then Johnson had 6 as well. So it's a lot of good information right there from my man Zeno. All right, let's flip it over and let's take a look at the wide receivers. And this is really where the stars show up. DK, get out of my way. Metcalf, and then Jamar Chase, who finally got his bag. But when you get your bag, Peyton, and your team sucks, how much joy is there really for Jamar Chase? Can't count your bank account forever. I learned that from a guy I used to work with. These are 2 absolute all-pros.
Yeah, I mean, just ask Mike Trout that question. I'm going over on DK Metcalf tonight. DK coming off 2 big games of 126 and 95 receiving yards. It's hard to take the under because then you're saying the Bengals secondary stops him. But they are not going to. They stink out there defensively. I'll take the over on DK. And Jamar Chase, you're probably saying to yourself, oh, Bengals, like, who's going to throw to him, whatever. They bring in Joe Flacco. But the truth is, Joe Flacco can find him. Last week, he targeted Chase 12 times, and Jamar had 10 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. I think they're going to be throwing the ball late in this game, like I mentioned, and his favorite target will hit the over in the fourth quarter.
Listen to this information, guys. Hashtag it pays to watch live. You don't get this just by looking at a number or a pick. Zeno, let me come over to you. To your point about DK Metcalf, last week, 4 catches, 95 yards. He is a yak receiver. So he went under his catch, but went over his yards. Your take on the receivers tonight?
Agree logically and philosophically with Peyton here. I would look at the longest reception prop just simply because it's going to be at plus money, whereas I'm going to have to lay juice with the yardage number. And he could still hit the longest yards and stay under somehow, depending on how the game script unfolds. I would just take Jamar Chase anytime touchdown at this point. If it's going to be in the end zone, Flacco, as we've said, is not dumb. He's going to look for number 1, the most popular target, to go get that ball. I agree again as far as the logic on Chase getting over 6.5, but it's just a tough number for me to bet. There's a lot that could go wrong there to get that he stays on 6. And, if the game is close and the Steelers are sputtering offensively, it almost says like it's going to get tight at the end here. So I would just look for Jamar Chase in the end zone.
And on that longest reception, if you guys look at it, you're saving about 8 yards or 9 yards from the longest pass for if you just go specifically with DK Metcalf, which to your point, he's the only long. So you're saving 9 yards there as well. Gentlemen, great information. Thank you to the 4-Letter Word Club for sponsoring our segment today. The most exclusive club in all of golf, and it is not close. More details to come on them in the next few weeks. All right, still to come on the other side. It's week 7. We now see teams' identities. But who is the best team right now? Who's the most disappointing team right now in the NFL? We'll discuss that next. And do not forget, tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, our premium pop-up. We cashed a bunch of tickets last night. Come and join us tonight. And who knows? I mean, Mikey P, he's worth the price of admission all by himself. This is Coach and Company Stadium and Bally Sports Live. All right, gentlemen, we just talked a lot about the quarterbacks and their age, because most players, except for Tom Brady, who won a Super Bowl after 40, they fall off a cliff. Do you guys know that Doug Flutie, yes, Doug Flutie, Boston College, 1980, Hail Mary against Miami, has the most rushing yards post his 40th birthday in the history of the NFL? 212. That's not a lot, Zeno, but I like saying Doug Flutie's name, so I wanted to bring him up.
I feel like I could do 212 yards. I'm old like Raph, but different.
A little bit different. It does. I mean, it's.
But he was in a single box too, so there's that. I mean,
Peyton, it speaks to the point that of all the years of the NFL, it's really, really hard. Even mobile quarterbacks don't play past the age of 40. These are dinosaurs in NFL years.
Well, of course, it's different than other sports. The NFL at 40 years old is pretty insane versus an NBA where you literally can't get slapped on the wrist. But playing in the NFL, you get a hard hit in your upper body and you're absolutely crushed. And at 40 years old, that might be a little bit different to take than when you're 25.
No doubt. No doubt. I will say this, Doug Flutie, I worked with him at ESPN. The fountain of youth, I think he took a bath in it because he's looked young his entire life, even though he's now into his 60s, maybe even 70.
Huh? He's doing that eugenics thing with Frank Thomas and whoever else. All these guys popping pills to stay young. Come on, man.
I've thought about ordering that myself, but then I go, oh man, I don't even have a wrinkle yet. I mean,
you are pretty. Hey, here's a fun fact. Both quarterbacks were drafted when Peyton was still in diapers.
The question is Pampers or that's a great nugget.
Both quarterbacks are wearing diapers tonight.
They're the other kind of
That is very true. That is very true. All right, gentlemen. Don't forget, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, Coach and Bro, top of the hour, don't go anywhere except if you're watching on YouTube, you got to switch YouTube channels. That's all I got to say there. 2 different ones. All right, we're back live in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. Coach and Company here, having a great day. A lot of great information getting you set for a busy, busy, busy day in the world of sports. Now, as we get into week 7, we're really kind of getting close to the midway point of the NFL, and I think a little bit surprising that we don't even have one undefeated team left in the league. We have the Bills losing 2 in a row. We've got the Eagles already 2 losses. So, Zeno, I want to start with you. Right now, in your mind, who is the best team in the National Football League?
It's the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I'm not somebody who's infatuated with the loss column like other people are who take them to heart. I mean, I watch the games, I read the numbers, and evaluate teams based off of things that go beyond wins and losses. So the Buffalo Bills continue to meet every metric, and they still have the best player in the game and the best quarterback in the game, and that's enough for me to keep them up top where they are. Sure, they have flaws. Every team has warts, right? There's not a team that doesn't have a wart. But I think of all the warts that I can live with the most, the Buffalo Bills has the fewest.
Peyton.
I'm in no means saying these guys are going to the Super Bowl because there's no way they're going to. But I'm right now, the Indianapolis Colts, because they're the healthiest team. They look the best offensively. And you mentioned Bills and Eagles both lost back-to-back games. They look terrible the last 2 weeks. I'm going with the Colts right now.
Raph.
I'm going with my Super Bowl winner. I'm sticking with them, the Green Bay Packers. I'm not sold on Detroit. Their schedule is really tough. They probably thought the Bears were going to be an easy win, but the Bears are a totally different team this year. They start to play the Giants, which they probably thought was going to be an easy W. So if you look at their schedule, I can see the Lions having some hiccups and the Packers win the division. So I'm going to stick with the Packers.
No, Packers, Colts, Bills. Come on, guys. We got to go to Kansas City. We got to go to the Chiefs. Did we not watch them the last 2 weeks? But half of this is how I really feel. Half of it because I wanted to see that. So right now, we're getting Rashee Rice back. You saw what happened when Xavier Worthy came back. It takes the top off of the offense, and Patrick Mahomes is saying, you know what, enough of the nonsense. I'm going to do whatever it takes. He's going over his rushing number every single game, and he's so good that he's causing other players to give themselves one-game suspensions. Who else is doing that?
Did you notice the study that came out that says the flags benefit the Chiefs more than any other team in the league? Did we ignore that part? Did we see how the NFL actually threw a flag that didn't happen on the field on Sunday night? I know. Okay.
God, I love that so much. I love that so much. All right. Disappointing teams. Zeno, who's your most disappointing team so far through 6 weeks?
I mean, it has to be the Ravens, right? Like you can't pick another team. This is they got the two-time MVP, Super Bowl caliber roster, a Super Bowl winning coach, and this is what happens. Everything fell apart quickly. I mean, that's how quickly it happens in the NFL. I don't think there's any other answer but the Ravens.
Peyton, I know your Ravens are your team, dog. Is that where you're going to?
Of course. I mean, we stink. I know we're bad this year, but it hits different when you see them at 1-5. That's awful. So, yeah, no Lamar Jackson the past few weeks, but I'm shocked at how awful their defense is, as well as the worst in the NFL right now.
Real quick, Coach, full disclosure. There are 4 other teams that started out 1-5 and made the postseason. I still would bet the Ravens to make the playoffs.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Raphael, would you do that?
No, I am sticking with my healthy bet that I have for the worst team in the NFL, and that's the New Orleans Saints. They stink all over, and they're going to be a big trade target. Olave, gone. Maybe Taysom Hill, gone. They're going to be a huge trade target. Their good players are going to be leaving.
I'm hearing Olave potentially to the Bills, who need a wideout. I'm going to go with the question was most disappointing, not worst. So I'm going to go with Dallas, because Dallas had a chance the last couple of weeks to gain ground on the Eagles. They wipe out the Jets, expected. Then they go to Carolina, and you can't beat the Panthers, and you want to be a playoff team? You're now 2-3-1. You tie the Packers and show you can play with the best teams, but then you do that. That's disappointing to me when you have the most money and the most of anything, and you continue to be bad for 28 seasons. All right, we're going to have a great day today with our picks. I already know it, but I know a lot of you were not here at the top of the hour. That's why right now we lock it in. All right, 10 seconds or less, just 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. Raphael, top right, start us off.
Well, the second book just moved the total to now 45 in tonight's game, so it's going to be very interesting all afternoon. That's why I'm taking a Steelers team total over 24.5. We'll see 25.5 pretty soon with the -110. Bengals defense stinks. We all know. I think the Steelers put up probably 30 points tonight. I'm calling it Steelers put up 30 points.
Zeno.
Aaron Rodgers over 216.5 passing yards. He's hit at least 200 in 4 of 5 games. And, well, the Bengals defense stinks. They've allowed opposing quarterbacks in 5 of their 6 games to hit this number. And the New York Rangers on the ice tonight after back-to-back shutouts will go over 2.5 team total goals tonight against the Maple Leafs.
Young Peyton.
We're taking the Steelers to cover tonight because that Bengals defense is horrendous. And Tyler Glasnow of the Dodgers to have over 6.5 strikeouts tonight. He's coming off 6 scoreless with 8 Ks against the Phillies. I like him to get 7 tonight at plus money.
All right. If you're going to cash with the coach, you're going to do with these 2 plays. Teoscar Hernandez over 1.5 total bases. I got this over at BetMGM, plus 105. It's Dodger Stadium. It's the first game in the series. They're going to be pumped up, and he is a gamer. Then I think tonight is a very, very shortened game. Joe Flacco under 232.5 passing yards, -115. He didn't go over this number last week. Dylan Gabriel, who played against the Steelers defense last week, he did not go over this number. So I think tonight the Steelers want to get in and get out healthy. All right. Every single day at this time, we try to make you a little bit smarter. Raphael.
8 of the Bengals' last 9 home games have gone over the total. There's a reason why this total is going to move 4 points since the opening number.
They've done a really good job, guys, of like against Detroit. they were getting blanked the whole season. All of a sudden, they score, 18-21 in the fourth quarter, and that sent it over 60. Do we see the same type of thing tonight? What's the game script, Zeno, do you think the game will go with tonight?
I think it's slow. I think it's ugly. I think it's more run dependent than anything else. I mean, I'm not going to buy into money when the public is running to bet the over. So I'm definitely leaning on the under.
Are you on ESPN radio tonight during the game?
I am not. No.
Okay. Because I was going to say I'd run out and sit in my car during the premium pop-up, listen to Zeno while we're doing the game with my hot spot. That's what I would do. Young Peyton, do you see the same type of game script?
I don't know. I think the Steelers offense is going to pour it on them pretty well against the Bengals defense. It's just horrendous, and I think the Bengals will come in the end zone a little bit late in the game and push the over.
They're going to do what?
They're going to get in the end zone. The Bengals
get in the end zone. Okay.
Towards the end of the game.
Okay, God, I just misheard. Raphael, your take on the game script.
You guys have the game script. I have the sportsbook script. So the Bengals do a late cover to kill all the teasers, and the game still goes over. So I have the sportsbook script. The game goes over.
All right. And finally, we're going to start doing this every single day, a dog of the day. And the three choices today were the Brewers, were the Bengals, and the Blue Jays. And I think from what I saw in the chat, and we had two Blue Jays, that the one most likely to hit would be the Blue Jays tonight. How fast of a start, Zeno, do they need to get off if they want to even this series at 2 games apiece?
I mean, they'll do it with their bats. So getting a lead is paramount. And as long as the Blue Jays hit, they're going to be a very, very tough out. As you can see, when they score 3 runs or less, they are extremely beatable, especially with a shaky bullpen.
Yeah, they had 8 runs, Peyton, yesterday in 3 innings, so they get their runs in bunches.
Biggest thing for them is they don't strike out really at all. Lowest strikeout rate in the MLB. Luis Castillo can get a little wild. If he can't strike somebody out, he might get frustrated. I like Toronto to get off to a hot start.
Raphael, 10 seconds. We'll be live betting this game tonight on a premium pop-up.
I like Seattle. How does Ken Griffey Jr. not throw the first pitch yesterday instead of Randy Johnson? I like Seattle tonight. They come back and win.
That's a very, very good question. Gentlemen, great freaking job today. Great job today. Producer man, thank you for the one shot. Understand, we continue. We've got 2 full hours here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live coming up at the top of the hour. It's the Coach and Bro Show. All of the biggest stories and big business from the world of pro wrestling. But in the meantime, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these great tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, damn it, do I love them all. My man, Young Peyton, Zeno, Raphael, producer man, Mikey P. I'm the coach. This is Coach and Company. We'll see you top of the hour.